Hello, this is John Johnston from Corn Nation, out in the woods again. Different tree, not that far out in the woods. I'm actually right next to a highway. You know, it's kind of crappy out. It's wet, you can tell. But I was going to walk out and show you that the tree wasn't dead from my toxic nature of my being. But I didn't get that far. I don't want to get soaked and then get sick and then have to go to the hospital and die. Something about that. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about Nebraska not going to a bowl game. There seems to be a lot of fans, or a fair amount, upset about this. I not only follow the comments on my own website, Corn Nation, but I tend to look at the comments on social media for the Omaha World Herald and the Lincoln Journal-Star and other Nebraska media sites, and just to see what people are commenting on. And wow, I realize that maybe some of these are outliers, but again, there seems to be a lot of you upset about this, and I honestly, I'm not sure why. There seems to be some pushback on the idea that Scott Frost let his players decide whether they were going to go to a bowl game. Somebody referenced Jason Peter making a comment that he shouldn't let the players run the program. A lot has changed since Jason Peter played football. You know, college football is still it's a rough game, obviously, but this idea that you can just beat your players into submission, or run them until they puke, or make them lift the weights until they're exhausted, those days are gone. You know, student athletes have more of a voice these days than they've ever had. Evidence, Iowa lost one of the best strength coaches in the nation because he was a militaristic prick and apparently racist. But student athletes know that they don't have to put up with this crap as much as they used to. So I think it was the right choice by Frost to let his players decide. They're the ones that have been, you know, it's important to note that Nebraska never missed a game because they had problems with COVID. You know, Wisconsin canceled because they had problems with COVID. Other teams canceled, but Nebraska did not. Nebraska did a very good job of this season of handling its quarantining and its protocols and things like that so they could play. I would have liked personally to see Nebraska play another bowl game. You know, Brendan Hymas opted out for the Rutgers game, and Turner Corcoran started in his place at left tackle. And there was one drive in that game in which we ran left repeatedly on the side that Turner Corcoran started, and we abused Rutgers. Now you can say they're Rutgers and they're not any good, whatever. They still dominated them. They rushed for a very high per average carry per. You get my idea. It's kind of crappy out. It was fun to watch, and I would have liked to seen that again against a different opponent. Just if they made any progression in that area, because we did have a bunch of young guys start on the line for that game, and they played really well. And we ran the ball with ease. And again, it would have been nice to see that again. There was really nothing in going to a bowl game for these players, and really nothing for the program. Normally you want to go to a bowl game because you get an extra 2 to 3 weeks of practice. Well, they wouldn't have gotten that. They would have gotten maybe a few days. They would have had to load everybody up on a plane, fly to a game. There wouldn't have been any activities. There wouldn't have been any trips to the beach or whatever it is, wing eating contests, all the fun things you normally do when you go to a bowl game. There was no player development in this. That you could have flown down there and spent all that money and just had at the last moment the other team or your team test positive for COVID and not play the game. And I'm guessing you're going to see some of that. There have been a lot of teams opt out this year because this year doesn't count. I mean, for 90% of the teams in college football, this is a wasted throwaway year. You know, who's going to claim this year? You know, Ohio State's going to claim it because they are going to the college football playoff. Indiana's going to claim it because they had a really good season. Penn State certainly isn't. They had a losing streak historic in their program. You know, Nebraska kind of shouldn't. I don't know why, unless you want to just be bitter and angry about it, pretend in your head that this was a normal year. But it wasn't a normal year. Everybody handled this stuff differently, you know. I know people in my life that everything's kind of normal for them. They act like this is a no big deal, and they've proceeded to live their lives as normal. And then I've had other people in my life who are completely terrified by this pandemic, and they don't go anywhere, and they stay in their house. And it's just a difference. It's not any right or wrong to that. We're all human beings, and we should all be capable of kind of a little bit of forgiveness. I saw one post on social media that this was about the pussification of kids these days, and I thought, you know, I'm an old crusty guy. I walked to school uphill both ways in blizzards up to my neck. Never complained. They should be able to do this. They should just take it in stride. You know, these are easy things to say when you're sitting at home on your couch having a beer. Really easy. By the way, I did actually walk to school uphill both ways, but that's a different story. I lost my train of thought thinking about Castle Hill near where I grew up. What else do we have to say about a bowl game? There's nothing in it. There's no practices. There's no upside. Other than me seeing another game. I think that's about it. I need to get out of the cold. There's a blizzard coming. This is the precursor. 40 degrees and rain. Yeah. Merry Christmas. The tree isn't dead, but me and that tree are gonna probably duel for the next few years, hopefully. I hope that you're doing well. Thank you for all the views, and I hope you subscribe. I hope to continue doing these things. Maybe we'll get out here when it's 8 below, see how that goes. But go Big Red. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. Merry Christmas.